Earlier this year, Lumix released the S5 Mark II in a move that had Lumix fans like myself rejoicing at the features that were packed into this small hybrid body. Now, I've been shooting for the past couple of years with the S5 as well as the S1 that we're filming on right now and have absolutely loved the Lumix workflow. The S5 Mark II is no different. The only thing is it continues to improve upon the features that we were lacking to begin with some of the Lumix cameras. Now, thanks to my friends over at Lens Rentals, I was able to pick up the S5 Mark II for a wedding that we were hired to shoot. And after that wedding weekend, I want to give you guys 5 reasons why I believe the S5 Mark II is a killer option as your next camera. Let's go ahead and hop into it. It's no surprise that the S5 Mark II continues in the pedigree of beautiful image quality. One of the things that I've always loved about Lumix cameras, even going back to the GH5, is the image, although it may not be the most digitally tack sharp, crisp image that's ever come out of a camera, is to me one of the most pleasing. The S5 II is no different. We have massive amounts of dynamic range, we have detail from the darks all the way to the highlights, and we have smooth roll-off within that dynamic range. Very reminiscent of even like my Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. Lumix cameras, for whatever reason, just have the magic that I love, that I chase in an image. Although Lumix have always had the image quality realm down, the big elephant in the room has always been the autofocus performance until now. We now have phase detect autofocus within the S5 II and more recently the S5 IIX, and we are rejoicing. We are rejoicing that we have reliable autofocus. I strictly relied on the phase detect autofocus for the wedding weekend, and I can say this in full transparency, 97% of what I shot, the thing performed flawlessly. That other 3% were very, very high dynamic situations to where any phase detect would have still struggled, whether it be from Canon, Sony, whoever. The Lumix performed no differently than I would expect the other manufacturers to perform in those situations, and therefore, for the first time on camera, I'm saying it to you for the world to see, I trust Lumix autofocus. I said it, I meant it. I trust Lumix autofocus, and that to me is so encouraging, especially for these talking head videos, even for paid client work where we may have an angle that we can't physically man that camera. I would trust the phase detect autofocus on the S5 II, even in an interview situation. And that's exciting. I've never been able to say that before.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down! No!
Lumix have always been great about giving us multiple recording options, beefy codecs, while still having manageable data rates. One of the biggest recording options now that we have is 6K open gate recording. Now let me explain to you why this is important to me. I physically and mentally struggle with composing a vertical image within my horizontal composition. For certain clients, I have to do this. I have clients that rely on vertical video content for their platform. Now that I can record 6K open gate, I no longer have to worry about trying to squeeze a vertical image out of my horizontal composition. I can now record the full height as well as the full width of the sensor and successfully accomplish the compositions that I need for both. This is such a relief to me, and I would love for other manufacturers to take note on what Lumix has done now with open gate recording. I believe it's the future, especially for shooters like me who not only shoot horizontal for some clients, but we shoot vertical for others. It's wonderful for Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. Everybody else take note, Lumix is doing that right. I don't know how they were able to do it with the S5 Mark II and the S5 IIX, but Lumix have kept these bodies so affordable compared to the competition. Everyone else within the realm of hybrid mirrorless cameras that boast all of these video features are in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. The S5 II body only can be picked up for around $2,000, and depending on where you buy the body from, there are some crazy combo deals out there where you get the 20 to 60 as well as a prime for right around the $2,600 to $2,700 mark. It blows my mind how Lumix have packed so many features into this camera, but still keep it more affordable than other options. This is something to where I believe if you are getting into video and even photo, I'm not even mentioning all the great photo qualities of the S5 II, but if you are new or looking for a new camera to switch to, very affordable option compared to the competition. Speaking on price, if you are on the fence about whether or not to invest in the S5 Mark II, I highly recommend checking out my friends over at Lens Rentals. If you do decide to rent from Lens Rentals, they have been kind enough to give me a discount code, GWear15 for 15% off your rental. The final reason I'm going to recommend the S5 Mark II is the features that they now have within this body that just make sense. First off, they have finally taken away the recording limit that plagued the original S5. It was not on the S1 or the S1H, but the S5 did have the 30-minute recording limit. Fairly annoying in interview situations. We now no longer have that with the S5 II. Thank you, Lumix. Another annoyance from the original S5 was the micro HDMI. That thing was so untrustworthy. I felt like the smallest little bump, the smallest little nudge was gonna break the thing out of the camera. We finally have full-size HDMI. Once again, thank you, Lumix. Another feature that just makes sense is now we have the control lock for the back dial and any of the dials while we're recording. This is a feature that's important to me because my fumble fingers have always had issues with accidentally changing my shutter angle, accidentally changing the aperture mid-shoot, and it just throws the flow of the video off a little bit when that happens. Another feature that Lumix have thrown into this camera, which typically is more of a cinema camera feature, is the fact that you can now bake a look into your footage. Now, I know that scares a lot of people. However, if we're thinking on a fast delivery for a client and you already have a look that you are a fan of, we now have the option to bake in a look to the footage, and it just makes that delivery process a whole lot easier. Very thoughtful feature from Lumix. Don't know how much I'll actually use it. We'll see in the future, but I do believe it could be good for developing a look for a client and shooting that straight to the footage for quick social media cuts for any fast delivery that they need. I believe the S5 Mark II is a killer option for anyone looking for an affordable hybrid mirrorless camera that packs so many useful video features. For this particular review, I did not get into the photo features, but it once again continues to stack upon the great pedigree that the S5 had, and even the S1 as far as photo image quality goes. I personally believe that Lumix took everything that was great about the Mark II's predecessors and improved upon that and actually listened to us on the things that we needed. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the S5 Mark II? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? I would love to know that down in the comments below. Also, as always, if you like this video, want to see more like it in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I love growing this community here on YouTube. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you in the next.